Hello and welcome back to Transfer Review, where we take a look at some of the biggest transfers currently dominating the media. Today, we've got some juicy ones for you. I'm joined by Christopher Hamill.
Another juicy one.
To put them under the microscope. Don't ever say that to me again. That is an HR issue. And we start with Lautaro Martinez, who could be on his way to Barcelona.
Yes, and he's seen very much as a long-term replacement for Luis Suarez. I'm led to believe reports in Argentina linking him heavily with the Blaugrana. They're upset they missed out on Luka Jovic to rivals Real Madrid and are now going balls to the wall for Lautaro. Now, Radio La Red claim that they're willing to pay up to 112 million euros for him. So while this one is a little bit off the beaten track, yeah, the fee is still very sizable. Martinez almost went to Real Madrid, in fact, when he was 18, but stayed at Racing Club before switching to Inter Milan for 30 million euros. So he was pretty expensive when he was shipped from South America. He made 27 appearances last year, all across that forward line, of course, owing to Mauro Icardi coming in and out of the side, Keita Balde coming in and out of the side. He was pretty much the mainstay there. Only starting 13 games though, ever present but not always starting, ending up with 6 goals and 2 assists in that time. However, he has been bloody excellent in the Copa America alongside Messi, starting 3 of Argentina's 4 games, so really coming to the fore on the international stage. Starting over the bar too, scoring twice, making him the tournament's joint top goal scorer at this point. And the underlying numbers from last season, ka-ching, love that phrase, do scream future superstar. 4.4 shots a game, 3.7 from inside the box, actually ahead of Luka Jovic in that sense, who we came to identify as someone that created really good chances inside the box, or at least Sebastian Haller created them for him. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. 4.4 shots. That does suggest he can rack up some more goals. You know, more so than 6 anyway.
Yeah, it's something that actually Icardi's never really done for Inter, right? Like create huge shot numbers. Yeah. He's created amazing shot quality. And I actually think that Martinez, I'm not going to say he's better than Jovic, but I think he's more versatile than Jovic. 1.4 key passes to Jovic's 1 last season, and 0.68 expected goals and assists per 90. Compares pretty well to Jovic's 0.78, especially given that Inter, not actually a great attacking side right now, slightly worse than Eintracht on the numbers, 1.7 XG per game compared to Eintracht's 1.8. So, I mean, they're still a decent attacking side, but to put those numbers up at 21 years old in Serie A, in a dysfunctional team, is pretty impressive stuff. He was actually 7th in Serie A by expected goals and assists per 90. The only players under 28 in the top 10 other than him were Arkadiusz Milik, who's obviously on an attacking powerhouse in Napoli, and Joaquin Correa, who really had a sensational season for Lazio. And overall, I just think this is a more sensible move than going for Antoine Griezmann. I mean, Martinez is 6 years younger, better shot and expected goals numbers. His key pass and assist numbers aren't as good, but they're not actually far off. I think that he wouldn't necessarily mind taking a backseat to Suarez in big games. He could play alongside Suarez with Messi behind them, which actually has how he's been playing for Argentina, alongside Aguero with Messi behind them. So you could see him doing that for a bit and then eventually taking over the number 9 shirt at age 23 or 24. And I think that Inter going so hard for Romelu Lukaku has to make him think, am I going to get the chances here that I probably deserve? No suitors currently coming forward for Icardi. Doesn't look like he's going to leave. Inter reportedly offering over 60 mil for Lukaku. If I were Martinez, I'd be thinking, okay, if I can jump ship, and especially if I can jump ship and swim to Barcelona, then that wouldn't necessarily be the worst idea. But we want to know what you guys think. Is he good enough for the Blaugrana? Is he worth that outrageous price tag? Let us know in the comments below.
Our next rumour really bloody upset me on Twitter last week. It's Dwight McNeil to Juventus for £30 million. And I took it very personally because that was twice what Arsenal originally bid for Kieran Tierney. Now let me explain why I don't think this move would be Dwight for Juventus.
You're an idiot.
Ba-dum-bum. Anyway, according to The Sun, Dwight McNeil could swap Turf Moor for Turin this summer, a sentence I never thought would spill out of my mouth, with Juventus considering a swoop for the 19-year-old wide man. Plays as a left winger, made his debut in the 17-18 season, appearing 21 times last year in the Premier League. Local boy, actually. McNeil was born just half an hour from Turf Moor. Pat knows that because he Google Mapped it. And he was a member of Manchester United's academy until the age of 14 when he was released, with the Red Devils saying he just wasn't good enough at set pieces, apparently. A very specific bit of feedback, that. However, he did assist 2 goals from corners in the Premier League this season, so, you know, Dwight's had the last laugh, ending up with 3 goals and 5 assists in just 1,600 Premier League minutes, which ostensibly looks pretty good, but it was an overperformance, with XG putting in closer to 5 involvements, and his 0.3 expected goals and assists per 90 isn't exactly spectacular. Doesn't really justify a £30 million bid. But he is extremely young, playing on a side which only averaged 1.2 expected goals per 90, so a lot of attacking play is coming through him, shouldering a lot of responsibility at this point in his career. No doubt his numbers would spike on a better side. But I'm kind of thinking, if Bernardeschi's not getting meaningful minutes, if the Barla's, you know, coming off the bench 1 every 2 games, then what the frick is Dwight McNeil going to offer to that forward line?
Well, that's the thing. I'd expect him to be loaned straight back out. They've got Costa, Mandzukic, Cuadrado, Dybala, Bernardeschi already in the squad, Moiskin. You know, like, they've got a bunch of players who want minutes. But I do think that he's a different sort of player. I mean, he also got 1.7 dribbles per game in the Prem this season with a 56% success rate, which actually is really unusual in young players. They tend to fail with more dribbles than they succeed with, purely because they don't have the strength yet. And even players like Sterling and Sane complete 54% of their dribbles. So actually he compares pretty well to them. And of course, because he's playing for Burnley, good defensive numbers too, 2.7 tackles and interceptions per match. Got a call up to England's under-20s for the Toulon tournament at the end of the season. Played 1 game. I think England finished 9th, something like that. They actually finished lower than the Republic of Ireland,
Romania.
Which is
Brilliant.
quite funny. Everton, Arsenal, Man City, all linked as well. But Juve are kind of changing their transfer policy right now. They've been going for young players. They brought in Christian Romero from Genoa. It looks like he'll potentially be loaned out, but he could be a first-team player. They've obviously brought in Luca Pellegrini from Roma, the left-back. I don't know if he'll be getting meaningful minutes, maybe with Spinazzola going the other way. And Matthijs de Ligt, obviously Federico Chiesa could join as well. It does seem like they're making an active effort to rejuvenate that team. So I don't know, maybe Dwight McNeil fits into that plan, but for me, I just can't see a Juve player called Dwight in the near future.
Not having it. Absolutely not having it. Yeah, sounds like a jock.
And he's northern as well, and nothing good has ever come out of the north.
Our final transfer then, before we move on to fans' choice, is Dodi Lukebakio to Lille. And while Nicola Pepe remains a Lille player, he's being touted for a move to every top club across Europe. So we'll just assume that he's going to be gone in the next week. But the Dogs could already be planning for his departure with a swoop for Watford's 21-year-old Belgian forward Dodi Lukebakio. Now, he spent last season on loan at Fortuna Düsseldorf, where he only missed 3 games all season. And in that time, he netted 10 league goals and put up an expected goals and assists per 90 of 0.64, which is actually the same as Sadio Mane and Marcus Rashford. And good for second at Lille, behind Nicola Pepe, of course. Now, shot numbers not currently elite, only 2.5 per game. That does put him 3rd in the Lille squad, though. And with under 1 key pass a match, he's not exactly a like-for-like replacement for Pepe, who took 3 shots and laid on 2 chances per 90. But he might not have to replace all of that output by himself, as we've just heard that Tim Ware has been confirmed as a Lille player for €10 million. Good luck, Timo.
I think they're just being smart. They're just taking gambles on young players, right? Like, they've got Loic Remy. He's like their veteran forward. But they've got Rafael Leao. They've got Jonathan Ikone, Jonathan Bamba. They've got so many good young forwards. And I think that Lukebakio, while he looks more like a striker in the numbers, he is potentially able to drift out wide and interchange with the other forwards. 2.3 dribbles per 90 last season, which is very, very good. Bamba and Ikone in 2018-19 pretty much played across the front line. Bamba was involved in 16 goals, Ikone in 12. And I think Lukebakio would represent another coup for a club which is making a name for itself with its kind of focus on young players. He switched international allegiance to Belgium, actually, after making his international debut for the DR Congo back in 2016. And apparently he's asked the Hornets to let him move to France, where he would play Champions League football. Now, Dortmund rumoured to hold an interest in him too. So it would be sensible for Lille to get this one done as soon as possible. Reported fee of 13 million euros. That feels very optimistic.
Yeah, absolute bargain that. I'll be certainly picking him up for 13 million euros, especially if Dortmund are sniffing around.
Yeah.
Generally the telltale sign that you've got a player on your hands. What about you guys? Who would you like to see signed for your club below the 20 million euro mark? I want to see some diamonds in the rough in the comments below. Let's move on to fans' choice.
We finish up with our fans' choice, and it comes from Sahil Durat this week, who suggested Dan Axel Zagadou to Arsenal, which would make me very happy.
Zagadou. I bet you bloody like it. No chance you get him for this price, but let's entertain it anyway. Bild are reporting that Zagadou wants to leave Dortmund after the acquisition of Mats Hummels. Now, you hate the move. I don't mind it, but if it leads to Zagadou leaving, a young player of his calibre, then yes.
Then it's even dumber than I thought it was in the first place.
That could be argued. Arsenal heavily interested in picking up Zagadou should that be the case. Now, the reported price tag is only 30 million euros, though other sources have actually put it as low as 20 million. Now, anything is a profit bought BVB, as they picked him up on a free when his contract expired with PSG in 2017. A lot of youth coming out of PSG, making it at prominent clubs because they have a monopoly of Paris, of course. Made 17 league appearances last season, meaning 13 players got more minutes than him. A ranking which is likely to get worse, you'd imagine, with Hummels' arrival. He's probably going to be the victim in the starting lineup when it comes to getting the experienced German in there. However, he is entitled to demanding playing time. He looks spectacular for a player who only turned 20 last campaign and finished the season in pretty strong fashion. And we spoke about how, okay, Dortmund's numbers might catch up with them towards the end of the season, and they did because they were riding their luck for the first 6 months, but getting that backline experience and getting them playing together, that young core, that young unit, is vital. And it feels like the Hummels move, whilst I do think he could be very good for them, it interrupts the partnership that Zagadou, that Diallo, that Akanji are kind of forming in that back four.
Well, I mean, I understand that like you want 4 centre-backs. I just think if you want an experienced centre-back, don't pay 37 million euros. Like, there's a price where I'd be fine with the move, like, but I'm not fine with it for over 30 mil. I'm not fine with it for nearly 40 million euros. That's insane. That's so much money. Like, and Zagadou looks like he's going to be a star. He was 3rd in the squad for interceptions last year, completed 87% of the tackles he attempted. So though his tackle numbers were low, it suggests that that was because he had protection around him rather than because he was attempting challenges and missing on them. He's 6'5". He's fast. He won 70% of his aerial duels. He was dispossessed less than every other Dortmund player. He completed a dribble a game, which is hilarious. It's very Bundesliga, that number. And really good possession statistics as well. 74 passes a match, 4 long balls, 4th and 5th at Dortmund respectively for those stats. So I just think if you can get him, and if you're a club like Arsenal, you should be delighted. And if Dortmund are willing to let him go, and I wouldn't be surprised given that they've massively overpaid for Hummels and they potentially want to recoup some money, then I think that 30 mil is something that you should find a way to cobble it together for a player like this.
Very sound business. So Zagadou would represent excellent business, yes, but who would you rather have out of that Dortmund backline? Diallo, Zagadou or Akanji?
Diallo.
Who would you rather have? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for this week's transfer review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then click on screen now where other videos you can possibly enjoy are floating around over our faces, no doubt. Like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.